Hyundai vehicles. This has been a little bit of a journey for me, working on this for about the last year, and finally was able to put things together in that partnership along with the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee Police Department. Today I'm just going to give a couple remarks and then I'll pass it over to our acting chief of police. Everybody just understand that we want to take a proactive approach in some of the vehicle thefts that have been occurring, not just around our university, but around the greater portion of Milwaukee County. So we wanted to do something about it and make sure that everybody is able to take a stance in protecting their vehicles from thefts. And so with that collaboration, we reached out to Hyundai, who decided that they were going to be great partners with us in making that happen. And so today we're making that happen. You'll get more information regarding that from our other speakers today, but I just want to thank everybody for coming. It's been a great collaboration. I'm excited about it. So tell your friends, tell your family members. This weekend, we're actually going to be tomorrow, Friday and Saturday, we'll be around to make that happen, make sure that we're protecting everybody from vehicle theft. So with that said, again, my name is Corporal Craig Rafferty, and I'm going to turn it over to our Acting Chief of Police, Brian Switala.
Morning, everyone, and thank you, Corporal Rafferty, for that. In response to the rising thefts of Hyundai vehicles that do not have push-button ignitions and mobilizing anti-theft devices, the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee Police Department is proud to partner with Hyundai Motor America to support a free installation of anti-theft software. This initiative is part of our ongoing commitment to enhancing the safety and security of our community. Over the past several years, Milwaukee has experienced a troubling increase in vehicle thefts and certain makes and models, particularly some Hyundai vehicles, being disproportionately targeted. These thefts have caused significant concern among the residents, amongst the students, staff, and faculty of UW Milwaukee, and have strained law enforcement resources. As a community, it's imperative that we take collective action to address the issue and protect our property. UWM Police Department has partnered with Hyundai since September of 2021, and we've been offering steering wheel locks since then to the community, UWM, and the greater Milwaukee area for those Hyundai owners. This mobile clinic is designed to complement Hyundai's nationwide network of dealerships, driving further installation of Hyundai's free anti-theft software upgrade for affected customers. Specifically, trained mobile service technicians will be on site to install and complete the software upgrade, a process that typically takes less than 30 minutes. We are grateful to Hyundai Motor America for their proactive efforts and commitment to our community's safety. Together, we can work together to make the neighborhood safer for everyone. For more information about the event, please visit Hyundai's anti-theft website or contact University of Milwaukee Police Department. From here, I'll turn it over to Hyundai Vice President Dave Vandelin.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dave Vandelin, V-A-N-D-E, capital L-I-N-D-E. As the Chief said, I'm Vice President for Hyundai Motor America. I want to thank Chief Switala, Captain Kenzie, Lieutenant Moss, and Corporal Rafferty, along with the university staff and University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee's Police Department, in supporting our customers this week to help protect against the theft of Hyundai vehicles using a method popularized on social media. The University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee Police Department's efforts to bring resources like Hyundai to this campus, community, and state highlights the dedication of law enforcement leaders and elected officials to ensure your safety. In the summer of 2021, as you know, Hyundai tracked a sharp increase in the theft rate of our customers' vehicles. These thefts were driven by a social media challenge that spread rapidly across the nation. Hyundai set out to work first on an alarm solution, a steering wheel lock distribution program, and engineering a software solution to combat specifically that type of theft. Early last year, Hyundai launched a software package for 3.7 million Hyundai vehicles, 2011 through 2021 model years, where you insert a key and turn it to start the vehicle. To this day, 830 plus Hyundai dealers across the nation are still completing thousands of these important software updates every day. Recently, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety published a detailed report on the effectiveness of Hyundai's software upgrade. A copy of that report is on our website, HyundaiAntiTheft.com. In their report, they stated, the company's solution is extremely effective, and if you own a Hyundai or Kia vehicle without an electronic immobilizer, you should call your local dealer and schedule to have the software upgrade immediately. We appreciate the detailed published research and analysis from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety's data arm, the Highway Loss Data Institute, but our work continues. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday and Friday, Saturday 8 to 3, here at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee's Capitol and Humboldt parking lot at 4430 North Humboldt, our technicians, as the chief said, are going to be on site to provide that important safety software upgrade or a mechanical upgrade in 30 minutes or less. Importantly, there is no appointment needed whatsoever for this. There's no cost at all. We don't even need ID from the customers. All we literally need is the serial number of the vehicle and about 30 minutes of their time. Also, during the anti-theft event this weekend, Hyundai is very proud to be able to support University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee's African Diaspora Council's 8th annual school supply drive. All participants who visit the school supply drive at Merrill Circle are also going to receive a complimentary steering lock, as well as all Hyundai customers that visit us here at the clinic site. Hyundai deeply appreciates the partnerships with local police departments, civic and community leaders, and elected officials, because without them, these events wouldn't be possible. During the time of our software development, we started the steering wheel lock distribution program that the chief spoke of. So far to date, we've distributed about 150,000 of those steering wheel locks, and it's those relationships with the PDs that brought apart this activity. A year ago, a young lieutenant in Washington, D.C. challenged us when the software was released to think bigger about how we could really accelerate the intake of the software upgrade. So our first event just over a year ago was in Washington, D.C. at a big 5-day event at RFK. So we're happy to be here today with our 34th national event in a year's time. We're currently on track to be about 70% complete for that 3.7 million vehicles by the end of the year. And it's our dealers' hard work and clinics like this, as well as the outreach efforts by the PDs and the cities alike, that are helping us achieve those very strong completion numbers. Finally, we want to thank you, the media. We survey all the customers as they come in, and we ask them what brought them into the event, and about 60 or 70% of the people will tell us that they see it on the local news. Whether it's drive time radio, morning drive, or evening news, you are their source for knowing this information, so we appreciate the thorough coverage. With that, I'd certainly like to open up to any questions. After we do the Q&A, I'm going to go over to the cars behind us, and we'll go through a lot of footage I think that you can use for B-roll. I'll talk about the difference in key types. We have the devices that we use. We have the immobilizer sleeve that we install, so we'll handle a lot of those at the vehicle as well too. But happy to take any questions right now.
You mentioned the 2011 and 2021 software upgrades. What about 22 through 25? What are people with those cars supposed to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. You don't have to do anything. Every Hyundai vehicle that was produced after November of 2021, whether it has a blade key or it has a push button key, all of those have immobilizer systems, so they don't need any update to those vehicles.
Does that mean that they're guaranteed not to be stolen?
I would be careful with guaranteed not to be stolen. The software upgrade specifically addresses the type of theft that was popularized on social media, which exposed the cars that don't have a immobilizer key. So those vehicles produced after November of 2021 have immobilizer technology, so they can't be stolen by that TikTok method.
So you guys talked about a partnership between the university and Hyundai for this event. So how many thefts and car break-ins have happened near UWM Milwaukee's campus?
So as you know, our primary jurisdiction is UW Milwaukee, and then just to speak with that, I think since 2022 we had 8 vehicle thefts, 23 we had 9, and this year we're on track, we're at 7 currently. So I think this will absolutely enhance, or at least try to harden the target of those, especially with this getting out in the public as it is. So hopefully it answered your question.
So I know previously MPD talked about having more patrols in the area to help combat that before students return to school. Has that happened? Is it currently happening?
Yeah, so we have a very close relationship with Milwaukee Police Department, as you can imagine in that. Specifically District 1, where most of our interests lie here at UWM. They have been out. We've noticed an uptick of patrol and presence in that. I don't know if it's directly associated with these types of crimes, but I think just as the area is becoming repopulated or more populated, with school being back in session in that, yeah, we've absolutely seen squads around more than usual, and they're usually up in our area a number of times in a day. So.
Question for Hyundai. We've done quite a few stories on just stolen cars. Carjackings are up significantly in Milwaukee. Unfortunately, a lot of the times they are Hyundai and Kias that are leading police on these chases. We've talked to some people who live in Milwaukee and then the towns outside of Milwaukee City proper. They're telling us that insurance companies have dropped them because they drive Hyundais. What is your message for them? What are people supposed to do who drive a Hyundai, who can't afford to buy a new car, and their insurances are dropping them because they're not going to provide that service anymore?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to make a point that carjacking is a very different type of crime than auto theft. So the software upgrade specifically addresses, again, the theft method that's been popularized on social media to be able to tear the ignition switch apart, access a tab that they turn with a pair of pliers or a USB. Regarding insurance, we struck, over a year ago, we struck up a relationship with AAA Automotive. So we have a special agreement with AAA that they'll write customers that either lose their coverage or their premiums go up and they want to change over. So you can find that information on our antitheft.com website. Okay, so what I'd like to do is there's a lot of little details about what we do. I know there's still lots of questions about how it all works. I'd like to invite you over. So there's two vehicles behind us. One is a push button vehicle that doesn't need a software upgrade. The other one is a turnkey vehicle that's received the upgrade. So I'd like to show you how we put those in. There's complimentary steering wheel locks that we'll be handing out all weekend, hundreds of those. There's one of those available as well too for B-roll footage. A lot of what drives our traffic is that no cost, no appointment necessary, and complimentary steering wheel locks. So we want to make sure that we show you that. All right, you guys could reset. I'm going to stand over here by the driver's door of the black Tucson.
Can I put my microphone
Yes,
on
of
you?
course.
Is that all right?
Yeah. Did we get started too early?
No, they assigned me too late. No, that's okay. I appreciate it. Thank you. Do the inside pocket? Thank you. No, gotta change the plans.
I'm glad you left. You're gonna have a lot of mics on you.
I'm kind of used to that. We're just thankful for the nice weather. We've been on a steady diet of Texas cities, so we're used to 110 degrees. Which doesn't slow people in Texas down at all. You'd think it would, but
Thank you.
If you can clip some of those and not put them all in the same pocket, that would probably
yeah,
be the easiest.
I'm gonna go pants pocket with this one. Okay, you want to grab my belt back there, maybe just to. Good. You work for me. You shouldn't need a mic on me.
You got room for one more? I bet you do.
Oh my God.
Eyes off if you want, Dave.
No, that's
fine.
okay.
That's fine. I can put it on that side, and then if you just just open that jacket up, and then yep, same thing. Oh, we got a good pocket.
There is a pocket there. It's just buttoned. There we go.
Appreciate this.
Yeah, yeah. Of course.
There
We
you go.
appreciate you. Okay. My jacket's about 30 pounds
Right.
now. Does he need to reset? Okay, so first thing I want to just talk about briefly is key technology. So you hear the term blade key or turn to start. So the TikTok method for stealing cars involves Hyundai vehicles 2011 through 2021 that use a key turn to start. So the key has a blade that you insert into a lock cylinder and turn it to start the vehicle. That's different from a fob key. So the Tucson here behind me is a blade key vehicle. So it has a what I call a traditional ignition switch that you turn to start the vehicle. The Kona, which is also behind me, uses a key fob. So a key fob goes in your pocket, it goes in your purse, your gym bag, your backpack, and it stays there. And there's a proximity sensor that you push a button on the dashboard of the vehicle to start the car. So push button vehicles already inherently have immobilizer technology, so they do not need a software update. Now we do have push button customers that will come to the clinic this weekend because they want the complimentary steering wheel lock, or they want the anti-theft stickers that we put on the vehicles after we do the software update. But these vehicles, again, already have immobilizer software installed. And every Hyundai vehicle, whether it's a blade key or it's a fob that's produced after November of 2021, all of those vehicles have immobilizer technology as well too. So 2011 all the way up to November of 2021, those are the vehicles that we need to see in the clinic. Now this is an all-in-one key. So the blade actually resides inside the lock and unlock kind of fob. Some of them are even more traditional. The older vehicles have a key and it has a dangling fob that has all the door controls. The software package that we install is very intuitive for the customer because it doesn't require them to do anything different, and the customers don't leave with another fob hanging off of their keychain. We simply program the vehicle to use the lock and the unlock buttons to also serve as the software on and software off functionality. So when the customer leaves, all we tell them is just remember, continue to use your key fob to lock and unlock your vehicle, because that's now also going to be software on and software off. So what we do, and if you come back tomorrow or on Saturday, what you'll see about 8 technicians inside the tent behind me that are using a standard Android tablet and this device. So this device we call a VCI. It's a vehicle communication interface. This plugs into an OBD port that's standard on all vehicles. This plugs into an OBD port underneath the steering wheel. That allows the vehicle to communicate with the tablet. The tablet, through big Wi-Fi servers that we have in the tent, pulls the software update down from Hyundai through the cloud. So again, that process takes about 15 minutes. We typically tell the customers we're going to need about 30 minutes of their time. So while it's not quite built out yet, if you get a chance to walk around the tent, you'll see that the section that's closest here to us is the working area. It's kind of the shop of the tent. But the far area is a customer lounge. So the customer lounge is carpeted. It's got couches, coffee machines, cold drinks, fresh fruit, snacks, television. So for the 30 minutes that we need the customer's time, we're going to take really, really good care of them while we're here. Now, there's 3.7 million Hyundai vehicles that need the software update. At the end of this year, we're tracking for 70% completion. As you can imagine though, on some of the older vehicles, like our computers or like our phones, they get to a point where you can't update the operating system anymore. So There are 680,000, small subset of the 3.7, there are 680,000 Hyundai vehicles that essentially the memory won't take another operating system upgrade, so we have a mechanical device. So this is called an immobilizer sleeve. If you can imagine, you can see the shape of that area. This is where the ignition switch lives for the vehicles. We wrap this ignition sleeve around the ignition switch and we permanently bond it around the ignition switch. The TikTok videos show the thieves splitting the ignition switch to access the tab that they turn to start the vehicle. So this is a very effective mechanical solution for those vehicles that can't take a software upgrade. We're also performing this in the tent as well too. So again, everyone that comes by with a turnkey ignition is going to get software if they need it. They're going to get an immobilizer sleeve if they're in that small population that can't take a software update. And then lastly, when they leave, we put these stickers on the vehicles. So these stickers go on both of the front doors and they show a would-be thief that walks up to the vehicle that it's now protected. And again, lastly, everyone that visits us with a Hyundai this weekend in the clinic, or everyone that goes to the school supply drive on Merrill Circle, is also going to get a complimentary steering wheel lock. We think one of the, not only the benefit of this clinic is we can drop into a high theft rate area to offer really at the door kind of service, but we say we raise the conversation about vehicle thefts. So, and it's a layered approach, and you'll hear PDs talk about hardening the target as a term that they use a lot. First and foremost, when we deliver a customer's vehicle, we tell them to please lock their vehicle. Too often we hear from customers that just don't lock their car. They leave it running. And I grew up in the Midwest, I grew up in Kansas. I know we all go out, we start our car in the morning and we go back inside for a cup of coffee. Just have to be very careful about that because you're making yourself potential prey to someone to steal the vehicle. Lock your car. Don't leave valuables in plain sight. Know where you're parking. Get the software upgrade. And lastly, I usually tell customers that if you're parked someplace very unfamiliar or dark or unattended, that steering wheel lock is just a great last line of defense because it's a visual deterrent for the thief even trying to attempt to break into the vehicle.
Is that mechanical sleeve, does that also take roughly a half hour to install?
Yeah. It takes a little bit longer, but because we have experienced technicians here that have been doing this now for 34 cities across the country in a year, we still make the same commitment to the customer that will be in and out in about 30 minutes. Sometimes there's a little bit of a line in the morning. Our published times are 8 to 6 on Thursday and Friday, 8 to 3 on Saturday. But if someone's in line at 7:30, we're all going to be here getting ready. We'll typically open up a little early. And then of course we don't kick anybody out of line either when we close at night. We'll stay here until the line's gone.
So do they automatically get both pieces, or is it like a choice when you?
It's one or the other. So if the software is eligible on the vehicle, we do the software update. It gets a sticker, and that sticker says theft logic has been installed. If it's in that small subset of population, and those are typically older Santa Fe's and Accents, which is our entry-level vehicle. Those are the ones that can't take the update. They get the mechanical device, and their sticker's a little bit different. It says anti-theft solution instead of logic, but otherwise identical. But we perform all of that in the tent as well too. So there'll actually be 3 tents up. We don't have the other ones up yet, so there'll be a kind of a tent where everyone checks in. They'll be in their vehicle while we do that. We'll check the serial number, we'll see what they need on their vehicle. We'll put, if you come back tomorrow or Friday or Saturday, you'll see colored tags underneath all the windshield wipers. That tells us what the car's in for and what it needs. That way we don't have to talk too much to each other. We can tell by the colored tag. So after they move through check-in, some people won't need anything. Some people just want the steering wheel lock and they're done. So there'll be a kind of a fast exit for those people. The rest will come in. They'll go to a valet station, which will be at the end of this tent, and that's where we'll escort them out of the vehicle into the lounge. We also have executive washroom trailers in here, so we make it very comfortable for people to just be here for 20 or 30 minutes. They're usually pretty blown away by what we can set up in a parking lot.
All of these upgrades and devices, how much is that costing your company to replace and upgrade all these vehicles?
Significant, as you can imagine, right? A significant amount of money. The key for us is that we know that our customers are in a very difficult situation, and if we have the ability to help, let's do something to help. So You know, I present regularly to the executive council, and no one has ever questioned me on the amount of money that we're spending. It's really just about what we can do to help get more people into the clinics or into the dealers to have this solution done.
And how much do you hope this rehabs the image?
Yeah, I mean, the image of around theft.
You were correct.
Yeah. So one, we hope we just bring some general awareness when we come into a market, and we work the national clinics with the customers and universities and PDs and elected officials, that we just bring overall awareness to the seriousness of auto theft. The Hyundai brand is obviously very strong in the United States. We're on a record sales pace, and we appreciate the customers' faith in our product and just want them to know we're doing everything we can to help with this very specific issue.
You mentioned doing this in other cities and other states. Is that because theft is prominent in those cities as well? You're seeing this nationwide, and then how does Milwaukee differ from all of those other places?
Yeah, it's a great question. So as I said, when we launched the software in February of 2023, we already had the steering wheel lock distribution program. So we've got over 1,000 PDs, almost 1,300 PDs we're working with to distribute steering wheel locks, and they hand out those at their own safety events, or to areas where they know if there's community officers, just a high crime area, they'll just walk and hand them out literally. So that lieutenant, a young lieutenant, she challenged us to, do something bigger. And in COVID, we were just coming out of COVID, I think we all understood the kind of the power of white tents, I call it, whether it was for testing or food distribution. So she said, can you guys do something like that? So what we do is we work with the PDs, typically the ones that we already have relationships through the steering wheel lock program. I've cold called some people too. I cold called the police chief of Memphis because I was tracking a lot of news stories about theft in Memphis. And we had a great event there in Memphis at the Liberty Bowl. So, but it really is a combination of police demand, high theft rate. What we don't want is, we don't want to go into a community and put the clinic in a location that doesn't have a high theft rate. We think it's really important, and we've been reinforced over and over again by the customers that we see coming in, that we be as much in the epicenter of the vehicle theft activity as we can, because those are the people that typically need us the most.
I'm sure you don't have numbers readily available, but any idea where Milwaukee sits on that list?
We've been to some very big cities. No disrespect at all to Milwaukee. Houston, Texas, right? Houston, Texas is like the size of a state itself. Las Vegas, we did almost 700 in one day in Las Vegas, where our average is about 200.
Is Milwaukee up there when you see Hyundai thefts, or are there other cities that are maybe? I think we're inundated with it regularly. We see it all the time, and so I just wonder where it compares to other cities theft-wise.
It's a great question, because we don't see theft rate either. We rely on feedback from the police departments. The insurance companies are kind of the best place after PDs to report that. What we're doing is just trying to triangulate on conversations we're having with police departments. The only thing we track in order to give us a bit of an indicator of theft rate is parts. So we can see parts demand. So we can see things like the back glass that gets broken when they break into the vehicle. We can see the ignition switch that gets destroyed. But a lot of customers, if they go to a secondary market or they go to used parts, we don't really get to see that. So we see certainly a decrease since the summer of 2021, when this all started, in parts demand, but we're still hearing from PDs across the country that they need us. Okay, if anybody wants to get any footage of anything inside the vehicle, a steering wheel lock, we can plug the VCI into the vehicle if you want to see that for any footage. Otherwise, I would just remind all of you, you are welcome when the clinic is open anytime over the next 3 days. It's very typical that we have a lot of, if you want to be here at 5 a.m. for a live shot for the morning news, I will be here, that's no problem. I get that request all the time. Happy to do any of that activity, and customers usually love talking about their experience, whether it was typically a stolen vehicle. We do get post-theft vehicles in here to the clinic as well too, so we're very careful to make sure that we comb over those cars well, make sure they get extra gratitude for coming in, and apologies for what they've had to go through. HyundaiAntiTheft.com is a great resource for all the information. Customers can use that. They go in, they put the serial number to their vehicle in, which they can find on the pillar here of the vehicle, and it will tell them. And if they're in the Milwaukee area, it will also show them all the information for this clinic site as well too. So you may have seen our direct mails that are going out point them to that HyundaiAntitheft.com website, and that will get them back here to the parking lot as well too, or to schedule with a dealer if they can't come see us this weekend. All right.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna pull this one out of the pocket here. So you're here all weekend?
Here all weekend.
All right. Where are you from?
I grew up in Kansas.